Another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. We got our I know you guys probably talked national championship game last week, obviously coming off college, and now we're right into the NBA playoffs, man. I can't believe it's already here. I feel like it was just All-Star break. Had a lot of teams kind of taking that second half surge. I would say one of the teams playing in the play-in game right now, and Charlotte Hornets, man. I actually had a meeting with a banking rep from Charlotte last week, and they're like, "Oh, you have a podcast. What do you think about the Hornets?"
Say hype, man.
Sean's out there himself, dude. They said the people are they're excited that their team's actually relevant again. Honestly, for the first time in a very long time, I think they both called back to the '90s, really, with Larry Johnson and all that. So it's been a long time.
They skipped the Kemba Walker era with
come on.
He had a little first round.
Kemba Walker, Al Jefferson gets the Miami Heat.
First round, dude. First round, man.
Yeah, absolutely. These playing games, I got my eye on one. Like, my team didn't make with the Bulls, but the Bulls are playing, aka the Portland Trail Blazers. If the Trail Blazers win, the Bulls get their first round pick.
One of the two, any one of the two games.
I know
they could lose the first one.
Any one of the two, but let's get the job done tonight, guys. Let's go Blazers. Let's go Danny Advia. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Versus the Suns.
Good old Blazers.
Suns are a good team, but Blazers right now, man, I give it like a 50-50 game, so it'll be great to see them get that playoff spot and ship the Bulls that beautiful pick of that trade many, many years ago with Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, Jesus. There's a
full
back.
Full throttle into the playoffs. It did feel like it just got accelerated. You kind of forget with the national championship happening and just thinking like, okay, maybe we got about a month or something till playoffs, but no, it's like here and right now.
Yep.
And the playing, I think, kind of accelerates that. So right now we're just going to kind of get into our thoughts on some of the playing games. Like I said, Charlotte and Miami's going on currently, but other playing games and just people where you want to start with that.
I mean, I'll just speak briefly on this one. I do have the Heat money line in this game. I think, either way, I hate this. I'm really sad that the Hornets weren't able to secure the 8th spot because I wanted them to like kind of guaranteed get in, and they could easily win this game, and win again, potentially to sneak in at the 8th spot. But, they've been a super hot team in the second half. Obviously, Con Knuppel. It's going to be very interesting, quick sidebar, to see how the Rookie of the Year pans out. Zoo and I are on the opposite sides of that bet. But LaMelo, man, this is kind of his moment, right? I think we'll see them probably more in the top 6, I would say, over the next year or two as this team continues to progress and build and mature and with team chemistry. But for right now, they're in the play-in. I do think the Heat will win, more so just on experience. But as we're speaking,
they're veterans of the play-in tournament, man. They are veterans of the play-in tournament.
They sure are, and they all got all the way to the finals one year on one of those. So they know what they're doing. But as we all saw pre-production, Bam did go down with what appears to be a back injury. So my money line might be in jeopardy, but it should be a good game. So Suns Blazers though tonight, man. This one's interesting. I think the Suns are going to win, Zoo. I mean, if you can see that's really the cutoff in quality in the West is kind of the Suns and then everybody else. Then the 8, 9, 10. I would say the 8, 9 Clippers and the Blazers are kind of on the same tier level, and the Warriors are even beneath them. But I just don't see Devin Booker allowing them to lose this first game. Not saying that they really have a great option coming into the true first round. If they win, they're going to have to play the Spurs. And if they lose and then win the second game, they're going to have to play the Thunder. So either way, this 7-8, whoever shapes it out, I think we can all agree it's going to be very tough to move beyond the first round. But I do like the Suns. Once again, I'm just going to go with experience on that. I think Booker could have a big game tonight. But to see what the Blazers can do, man. They're kind of like a quieter version of the Hornets this year. They really surged in the second half. Been fun to watch. Avdija's had a great year. Shaden Sharp coming back too is huge as well. So I think that'll be the most exciting playing game, Zoo. I do agree with you. I think the Suns are winning, but obviously we want the Blazers to make the playoffs as Bulls fans.
Absolutely, man.
Real quick on the Sixers Magic. Obviously we see Embiid going out with appendicitis, whatever. It's always something, man. He's got a spring injury.
Classic. He gets every random injury possible.
Every year, man, and it's just it used to be devastating for Philly fans, and now it's just the norm, right?
Yep.
So they're going up this, because of that injury. If he was playing, I'd say I'd really easily hand this to the Sixers. This could be a toss-up game, but the Magic are just way too inconsistent. We've talked about them a lot this year, being very underperforming compared to all of our expectations going into the year, but they did just lose to pretty much all the backups in Boston, with Shireman and Luka Garza and Ron Harper Jr. all dropping damn near 30. And they pretty much blew that game. Not that it would have affected seeding or anything, but I'm just trying to say that I'm still going to lean the Sixers in this game. I just can't trust the Magic. As good as Paolo Banchero is as an individual player, Bane actually has probably been the more consistent player when he's been playing this year. But I'm going to lean the Sixers, Zoo. And the last one, kind of easy. I'm going to take the Clippers over the Warriors. The Warriors, I guess they could get hot. Curry's playing now, but he still seems, he's not 100%. And I just think after the whole debacle that the Clippers had at the beginning of the season and Ty Lue pretty much saying, hey, we're going to hit this mark, by the end, they did it. They made the play-in after starting, 5-21 or something like that. Absolutely ridiculous. I think they shoot themselves into at least another shot at that 8 seed to then get swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So just kind of it's just kind of a process at this point. A lot of these matchups, we know how they're going to turn out in the first round, but these guys have bonuses tied to making the playoffs, and they're all pushing for it right now. So kind of an interesting. We'll see how the play-in goes today and tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Because you mentioned with the Clippers and Warriors, right? Like the Warriors, this is the time when you get to play in teams, and that's an awful team. Like the Warriors have absolutely been awful this year. And a lot of it has to be Curry's injury. But even with Curry healthy, I don't think this team would be even close to being like a 45+ win team. This is at best a 500 team. And right now they won 37 games this regular season. If you win 37 games, like this West at the bottom this year, it's been pretty awful this year.
Worse than the East.
Yeah, worse than the East, which has been very surprising turn. You look at the play in terms of the East, all at least 43 wins. That's actually pretty respectable. You're actually a game above 500, or a couple games above 500. Yeah. So that's very respectable. While the only reason Warriors are in it is you got just the Pelicans. They're not trying to tank, but they're just god awful. The Mavericks, Grizzlies, Kings, and Jazz are openly tanking. So the only team that they're actually better than that was actually trying to win are the Pelicans, and the Pelicans is a terrible organization with a really, really dumb general manager and Mr. Joe Dumars. So I gotta call that guy stupidity every time I see that guy.
No Supermax for Zion.
Man, who knows with that guy, man? Who knows with Joe Dumars? But yeah, the Warriors are lucky, and I think Clippers will kind of destroy them.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at the Clippers this year. Obviously, that start was horrendous. But Kawhi Leonard, he's sneakily having probably his best statistical season ever, actually, which is crazy because if you look at his stats, like 27.9 points a game, that's a career high. Even on the times with the Raptors and his initial times with the Clippers, he's never hit 27.9 points per game. And he's doing on 50% shooting, 39 from the line, 89. So he's was pretty close to that 50-40-90 club. And he's doing that on high volume. So Kawhi Leonard is absolutely having a historic year. And I think a lot of reason he is I feel like at the end of the year, Adam Silver might lay the smackdown in the aspiration case with Kawhi Leonard. So I think his contract might get nulled. So I feel like there might be a reason he's playing a little hard this year and hit the 65 games too. So he's showing teams that I could play, and he's trying to get another contract. Yep. That's just my theory right now. That's just a theory of how he was relatively healthy this year, 65 games. Like he's
for Kawhi, that's good.
Yeah, that's very good. He's eligible for the awards, which is funny to say because they kind of made that 65 rule for Kawhi Leonard because that dude would just be sitting out game is load management for the regular season. But he's 65 and he's having a career year. And obviously, you mentioned Clippers in the second half of the year. It's been pretty much on pace for a 50-win ball club right now. So the first half versus the second half has been a complete change. And Kawhi Leonard is probably the biggest reason for that, even post James Harden and Zubac trade, where they kind of went full rebuilding. But with Kawhi Leonard healthy and Garland coming back healthy, they got a roster there that's a lot more talented than the Golden State Warriors. So yeah, that playing, like, I think I have them as kind of a guaranteed win in that matchup because I'm just like, unless Steph Curry goes ballistic, I'm not really giving the Warriors a chance because that's a 37-win ball club. It's a really, really bad. Like Draymond Green talking about how, man, I don't even think we should be in the play-in. Like, this is when the play-in is not good because you got players on the roster think that they don't even deserve it because they're not that good. So, yeah, that's an easy watch for me for the Clippers and Warriors. If you're, I guess, your second best player, don't even got full belief in your roster right there, man. So that's an easy one for me. As far as the Suns and Blazers, man, I am going to root so hard for this game. It's going to be a long night, man. It's going to be a long night because in the East Coast, it's going to be a long – I got to get my backpack packed, everything ready to go tomorrow morning because it's going to be a long night watching this game right now because this is everything's on the table. Like a draft pick is on the line, and you got these young Blazers talk – wait, we forget the start of the year. Coaching, Chauncey Billups arrested for gambling.
Yep.
Like it feels like forever ago.
Just think about that. Imagine your head coach who was doing relatively good last year. The young guys seem to like him. Chauncey Billups was like a good leader. Gambling, mafia, whole lot of stuff. And they got I believe Mr. Splitter. Tiago
Splitter, man.
That's a throwback name. And then he's done a really, really good job. Because if you look at this team's extremely, extremely young. Like the only real veteran they have is Drew Holiday. Who's a
great veteran to have.
Yeah, great veteran to have, but that's like their only veteran guy. And like Robert Williams off the bench. But like I still pseudo call him a young guy, but like those are their veterans on the squad. And if you look at the rest of the roster, Tamani Kamara, Denny Avdia, my guy Donovan Clam from UConn, Scoot Henderson coming back from injury.
Finally.
Like, Matisse Thybulle. Like this team is really, really young, and they went full rebuild post Dame, and Dame has kind of the sideline coach. Bring some good energy, I guess. Like I feel like his leadership off the court. Obviously, he didn't play a single game all year, but 42 wins. That's very, very impressive
in the West.
Especially in the West. Like he's gonna get 42 and 40. Like that's a really respectable roster, especially all the stuff that we're dealing with. But as you mentioned, man, this Suns team, the post KD Suns, man, I'm telling you, man, you get rid of that cancer, man. Your team looks kind of better. It's crazy to say because you look at that roster on paper. Doesn't really make
that
sense.
roster is not.
Makes no sense. Like Green and Booker, like
Gillespie.
Yeah, Gillespie. Oh, he's a good shooter.
He's nice.
Bunch of two guards and like the roster doesn't really make that sense. But they play team basketball defensively. Like that's their identity right now. And obviously Devin Booker as a primary scorer, he's kind of like the go-to guy. And you got Brooks out there playing defense, and pretty much they just hustle. They completely changed their identity from a superstar team from the Beal and KD Booker Suns to this team. So very like 45 wins after getting rid of Kevin Durant. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Like they got rid of KD and they're playing better without him
and they're dealing with Bradley Beal and everything still going on. That's pretty much a wasted spot, you know?
Exactly.
That speaks to Booker. It
does speak to Booker.
You got to give him credit. You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
And the coaching.
Yeah, they got
just figuring out good lineups that work.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I got a shout out to the Suns because 45 wins, that is pretty impressive. So I'm going to give the veterans with the Phoenix Suns over the Blazers. But I hope I'm wrong so badly, man. I hope I'm wrong, but definitely I'm leaning them over them. But as you mentioned, Miami and Charlotte going on, I got Charlotte, man, because of the way they finished the season and that offense. Like I told you, I've never been a Miami guy post Jimmy Butler. I was just kind of out of Miami. Like post Jimmy. Like I thought Jimmy's one of those playoff guys where he's a special guy and carrying offense. And as much as how Bam has gotten better this year and dropping 80 points, I still do not believe him as the number one option on offense. So I'm fading the Miami Heat, and I will fade him again, even against this young team in the Charlotte Hornets right now. So like right now, game is a 1-point game right now. So going back and forth. I feel it's going to go down to the wire. Well, I'm going to give it to the young boys because they're at home right now. So
it's true.
I'm hoping maybe I'm going a little more hard over mine right now, but Charlotte right now has been playing extremely, extremely well, even though right now, Kakanippo, he ain't shooting the ball that well right now.
Nope. He's been a little quiet lately.
Yeah, I don't know. The play-in pressure, man. These are the big lights games where, everybody's on you. Like, you might win Rookie of the Year over your boy Cooper Flag. But,
as he should. He's playing in this game, and Cooper's not.
Okay, I don't know, but as he should, but he might this year. I give him right now.
Oh, come on.
No.
Cooper had 2 good games, and then
stop it!
just
You
changed.
Cooper stat padded towards the end of the season, just putting up tons of shots, like because he knew what it was. Yeah,
they were dumping champagne on his 50-piece, and they lost the game. Come on, man!
Dude, they were trying. The franchise is trying to lose, man. They're trying to lose. It is what it is. But I'm gonna still keep with my boy Cooper Flag because I still think he's the superstar. Right? Cooper, Cock and Nipple, man. You'll be a great second option. That's all I gotta say. He's a great second option.
He's Klay Thompson.
Yeah, he's the Klay Thompson. He's the movement guy. He's the off-ball guy. But if you want a superstar, he ain't playing off-ball, man.
He's definitely reached his peak. I don't think he's going to be consistently 50, 40, 90. Like, that's just not going to be him all his entire career. He'll be like, he'll have like sparks of that. But like, because if you're telling me he consistently will be like towards the end of the year, he's like, oh, he's flirting with 50, 40, 90 just every year till he retires, then he's a better player than Cooper.
Wow.
He's more,
because that's not, people don't do that.
Probably the way. Yeah.
I think, but because it's like 50, 40, 90, even though he's not actually getting it, if you're flirting around it, that means you're efficient, you're probably scoring well. Like, because Cooper is good as I think he'll be a number one option. Is like, I would rather have if you're telling me I can get 12 years of Khan being a like friends, like say he's a 49, 39, and 89 player. Yeah, I want that. that's his.
You could argue that's a better career than Klay Thompson. The only where Klay messed up, not messed up, but like he was short always. He was never going to hit 50% as a field goal shooter, but he was a better defender than Khan is, right?
And so that was the offset,
the difference maker right there.
And like I guess if you want to say what's more valuable in the playoffs, I'd probably rather have Klay because you're going to have matchups where you're going to need to slow down that explosive 2-guard that every team has. So yeah, that's a little bit more whatever. But
absolutely, man. Yeah. The last matchup, Magic and Sixers. This is a weird matchup because these are both teams under expectations. Obviously, Orlando Magic, Sean, that was your team, man. 45 wins.
Tell me about it.
Kind of same as last year. Just like the record is not as like that leap. That leap that San Antonio make, right? Like that's why you make a trade
or the Thunder
or the Thunder when you make that leap or the Pistons. The Pistons, exactly. So you're looking at that leap where you got a bunch of young guys. You got the first overall pick, so you got lucky with the lottery. So you got to win some games, and obviously 45 wins in the Eastern Conference. Like you got to get a little more wins like that. And 19-20 on the road, obviously playing against this hobbled Sixers team. But Tyrese Maxey is having probably an All NBA year, which is crazy. Like, Tyrese Maxey. I remember this guy was kind of a 6-man type of guy, but now he's the face of the franchise now. So Tyrese Maxey, and obviously the rookie Edgecombe. But this matchup is I'm going to lean the home team even without Embiid because there's some rumors about the coach on the hot seat. There's some rumors out there the coach is on the hot seat, obviously for underperforming with that type of roster, even though they did have significant injuries.
Yeah, all year.
Yeah, all year. But I think Wagner and Paolo Banchero, they got some overlapping characteristics where they don't have that perfect complementary basketball right now. So if they're 1-out, if they out this first game, management might be looking at opportunities to get better or diversify the talent.
They could still get the 8th seed.
They can still get the 8th seed, but if they don't make the playoff, I'm like making the playoffs right now. Like you better make the playoffs right now with this roster and after management went all in on their chips on getting their veteran 2-guard and Desmond Bane. Like if you don't even make the playoffs with going all in, because they got no assets left. They trade all their picks away, pick swaps. So you're kind of all in. So only piece you could primary move is Banchero or Wagner. So this might be their last opportunity to make a stand and show management like this is the core roster that could win it all.
Yep.
I just bouncing off of that game. Actually was super high. I remember now thinking about it. Like my picks were Orlando and Houston before the season, and part of my better judgment, because we kind of just talked about, or you just kind of, hinted at it. Not really hinted. You basically explained how the Suns look a little bit better without Kevin Durant, and with Orlando, even with the injuries and them being, I guess, not having all of their guys healthy to where they can maybe establish some chemistry. You can say, oh, I give them a break. But even still, you should have enough talent with those, especially like your two main guys with Wagner and Banchero. Those two guys alone should not have you in the plan. I don't care unless they were just injured the entire season and came back the last 2 weeks, and that's what your team is. Okay, that's an excuse. But like they've been in enough games to where these two ascending players like they were last year should be in at least top 5 minimum. And then you said, you're supposed to quote unquote add the complementary piece with Desmond Bane being the shooter. It's just no excuse. So even in this matchup, like, yeah, I would take Orlando, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just laid an egg because the team just hasn't been consistent all year. And to your point, they don't have any picks, so you got to change the coach because you can't get anything to change on the team.
Yep.
You got to have somebody in there that's going to be, and I think Jamal Mosley did a great job last year, but it's like, what have you done for me lately? And it's just, we see it all the time. When you give up that amount of assets in any sport, the first person to go is the coach. It's never, especially in the pro league, it's the coach. Like they're not trying to get rid of, because even though I do think there is something to Paolo and Wagner not really meshing.
Yeah, they don't play well.
If I'm the GM, I'm not trying to hear none of that. You figure something out.
Figure it out.
These are two elite talents where if we get a coach in here who can mesh this together and get it right, that it could be deadly. Because that's what you ideally, as any front office in the NBA, you want guys who are of that ilk of like Wagner and Banchero in terms of like their skill sets. You want those two types. Those are like building blocks.
You know what they need? They need Tom Thibodeau down there to really shape them up.
They need some type of toughness too. That probably would help. But so I'll pick Orlando on that. What I'm more disappointed about with the playing on the West side is like, I really do wish the Clippers would have somehow got a 7 or 8 seed because I just wanted to see if they could. I think they would win that and then get in that matchup with the Spurs. And it's just for drama and storylines. Just, am I picking that? No. But like, I do think it would be a really, really, really good possibility that it would be at least be 2-1 or 1-2 Clippers just because of Kawhi in the moment. Because it's like, as much as we always talk about all these teams, like everybody kind of has to go through their maturation process of going through the playoffs. And as much as the Spurs is being trendy pick and they have Wembanyama, who's a player that we've never seen before, it's just that you just said, Zoo, about Khan is like, you still have to be in the moment and playing in pressurized moments. Because the thing is with the playoffs, it's rare that you just get teams that blitz and just blow everybody out. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of moments where the games are close because all the teams are evenly matched. And after about game 2, maybe 3, you kind of know what everybody's doing. So now it's just like, is your guy better than my guy? So I'm pretty sure the Spurs are going to experience that. And it would have been cool to just see that in the first round if the Clippers did it. But I'm with you. Golden State, they're ready to go home. I know Steph came back. That's honorable. But that whole team is going to have a real just breakdown of like, okay, who is really left after we tore down the house? Like, who is coming out of the rubble and it's like we're starting over and building a new house? Because it's really only one person that we're taking with us. The rest of the guys do whatever. We'll trade, amnesty, whatever. Get them out of there, man.
I had the same exact.
He might be, dude. Like,
He's had a good year.
I mean, Draymond. Yeah, and Draymond is just. His style is just is outside of the theatrical. And the thing is, you think after how long he's been in the league, having that's probably the most like, wow. Like, I give Draymond credit of the energy he brings of just whether it's getting in someone's face, talk like that takes energy. And the fact that it's still this late in your career, you got your accomplished as you are, and you still have the energy to be fighting and clawing like that. That's a skill.
Hall of Famer, dude.
Like whatever. So yeah, I think that's important. But at some point, you're just gonna get to it where it's like, okay, now I'm ready to deal with my businesses and get on TNT and yap for however long. So, or not TNT, ESPN, I guess now. But so I mean, Clippers for me. Portland and the Suns are interesting because for me, it's like I just automatically think Suns because they've been in that moment before. I think the team, while they don't have as much talent, I think Devin Booker and I guess facsimile of like Dylan Brooks, just wilding out and just being whatever would be an offset to maybe just beat the Trailblazers. But I would not be shocked the Trailblazers won that because I do think they have a better team. I think they have more guys. Now they're super young, but I think they have a little bit more, like more guys that I think it'd be like, oh, like this guy went for 15 or something like that, or 17. So I would pick the Suns, but I'm not that's probably the one where I'm not as confident in. And obviously, just for bias purposes, I'm rooting for the Hornets. Like, I want them to get to the playoffs because I do want to see them in the playoffs because I think they need to win this playing game, and then when the next one is they need to be in a moment where whether they win or lose in the playoffs, they just have that experience because they need it for next year. Because I think if they were to get into the playoffs, it could definitely bolt them. Like, who cares what happens this year? Like, but it could really, really help them for next year because that core that they got is still entire, like really, really young. And it just proved dividends of like, okay, you know who we can trust. I actually like their head coach. I think he came out the Boston tree. Like, he's a guy who I think could really get them to the next level. And maybe there's a trade or two, or maybe a draft pick or something that they can maybe do to just add around the fringes. Because I do think they have everything you need. I think the only thing you could probably say is like maybe they don't have like a super dominant big man, but who knows? You could maybe find one in the draft or trade for one. And that's kind of crazy saying when they had Mark Williams, but I guess Mark Williams didn't fit. But
yeah, they have Kalkbrenner and they have Diabate, just kind of young filler, solid players.
Yeah. I actually think if they had, and I know the guy from New Orleans, Joe Dumars drafted Derek Queen, but I do think because of how they play on offense, Derek Queen would be an interesting. I know he's not the defensive guy. You probably want a guy like that, but I just think how he plays the game, he would be super interesting with Charlotte.
You know, I was
how offensively they would be.
Khalil Ware could have been very
he's
athletic.
He's good,
and he's a good shot blocker too.
Yep.
But I don't think the Heat would ever let him go.
No,
that was part of the
Khalil Ware is. That was the
he's
a couple draft picks. Like, he's not just a pick and player or just a future for, like, he's a 2-pick player because he's just, especially how he can shoot the ball, which I didn't go to Indiana for a year. Like, didn't even realize he had that type of shooting. And the fact that it's developed this fast, it's like, I always bring it up, but it's like, it's not similar to Bam Adebayo, but because I think he's a better shooter than Bam Adebayo, but just the offensive just placency on the floor. It's like Bam really came out of his shell and did that as he came into the league, and Khalil is kind of doing that too. And I think he's just scratching the surface. Like, you could almost argue like how he's playing is how you would kind of want Mobley to play a little bit if you're a Cavs fan, because I think people thought Mobley would be he would be more versatile and just like a transitional big where he's just doing everything. And I think if he played more like Mobley, the Cavs would be more of a threat. This is my opinion. But he would never, I don't think, do that because a lot of this stuff is ego. Like, he got drafted, 2 or 3? You got to be the guy who's doing everything. You can't just do a role as a number 2 or 3 pick. So I can start off with the first round. I'll just start in these. I'll just start with one of the games that I'm interested in. And we can y'all can bounce off after that, like in terms of just ideas. But I'm really interested, and I think we may have mentioned them before the pod. I don't know if we did or not. I'm super interested in the 4 or 5 of the East. I know we talked about, I don't know who mentioned it, but we talked about
the Raptors.
I think somebody said the Raptors, like, oh, like who's on their roster, and it's like they do have a lot of guys who, like, who is that? But the thing that's so intriguing about them is like Brandon Ingram has played like a number 1 option, which has been more of a surprise because I still always in the back of my head thought like, okay, Scotty Barnes is going to be the dude. Like, he's that rookie year just kind of framed in my head like he is the dude that has to take the step for them to be whatever. And I think now it's with Brandon Ingram because he's just a better scorer. It's just a fact.
He's more.
They've kind of all gotten into their slots of what they're supposed to be. And I just think like when we're thinking about the Cavs, like I don't want to say they went under the radar this year, but they kind of are escaping the like. They should be doing more than what they should be. Like, they should be with the roster they have. They should be in more talks. And I don't really hear it nationally about like this team should be okay. We've had these little mishaps and whatever. We need to be conference finals at least. We're not hearing a lot of that. And I think it's just because a lot of people again look at it as like, and this is exclusive away from James Harden because we know what he does in playoffs. So it's not fair to put that on him with the Cavs because he hasn't played yet. But it's like we're looking at Donovan Mitchell as like we kind of need to see that be a push, like that kind of, you're regarded as one of the top 2 guards in the game. Like, when are you going to at least get into a space non-COVID where you're getting into the conference finals or maybe getting a finals run or getting to the finals run?
He's almost 30.
So, yeah, he's been in the league for a while. Like, he's not a young guy anymore. So I'm just interested to see like if that pressure is felt on their side, because obviously the Raptors, because nobody before the season was just looking at them as like, oh, this is a team that can maybe be in the top 5 or 6 of the East. But again, Brandon Ingram versus Donovan Mitchell, like most people are going to say Donovan Mitchell. I get it. But like we always get to these series where what happens in a lot of playoff series? If Brandon Ingram comes in and is at a score, you're always leaning towards the guy who's 6'10", 6'11", that can just get a bucket. And it's like Donovan, it'd be different if he was a two, which I always like to lament him about. But it's like if he was a two-way player, I'd be a whole lot more confident in Cleveland.
I agree.
But it's like he's just a downhill scorer, which is fine, and he'll put up points. But it's like Harden coming on, and I love Harden, but it's like we just know how. If I'm expecting someone in the clutch, who are you expecting to make the clutch baskets for Cleveland? It has to be Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
And it's not to say he hasn't done it, but it's like go look at like Toronto, like bias here. CMB. Nobody ever talks about him. He was like the 9th pick. Nobody ever speaks to him, but he is literally what makes them go. He's a 6'7" forward center who literally can defend any position.
Yep.
His shooting has gotten a little bit better since it was way better since he's been in college, which is why with a lot of stuff, these shooting numbers you see in college, people just got to look at like what is their form and how can it translate? Because a lot of these guys just get better when they get in the league because there's more time. But it's like he literally can switch on any defender. He bothers a lot of guys. Like he's a very versatile piece. I mean, I don't want to say
quickly.
Quickly, he's fine. Like they have a lot of filler pieces. Scotty Barnes, you obviously know he's going to bring the energy. He can defend and he can also initiate offense if Brandon Ingram's having trouble. I just think it could be an interesting series. I just don't think it's a 4-1 Cleveland. And do not let Toronto get the first game because I think it may be in a tailspin. Because to your point, he's almost 30, and like I said, I love Donovan Mitchell, but man, he needs out of everybody in the East that we're talking about. He needs to be a guy that gets to the conference finals. He has to get there. Nobody's caring about what Boston does this year, even though they could make it. And B's got stomach's getting torn to pieces. Like he's got to get that fixed. Who else is in the East? Like the Hawks are up and coming, but they're ahead of schedule. Like I guess Orlando was the team, but we see how inconsistent it is.
The Raptors
like,
are where we thought the Magic would be, pretty much.
Yeah, and then we have the Knicks. Like, and I get it. Like the Knicks, you can make them argument about him, but it's like, dude, Donovan, like. I like Jalen Brunson, but I mean, when Donovan Mitchell is right, he's a top 2 guard. So, like, we got to see it. And I need them, if they're serious, they need to take care of the Raptors. I don't want to see a 6-7 game series.
It's going to be.
Because if it goes that way, I think then I'm give me the Raptors then. If it's going 6-7, give me the Raptors. Because the Cavs are not who we think they are then. If you're like, come on, 6-7 with the Raptors?
No, look.
I caught that, P-Bush. I caught that.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the most boring series in the first round. But when I say boring, I don't mean that it's going to be a sweep or even a gentleman's sweep. Yeah. Like I think it's going to go to a 6 or potentially a 7-game series. But where I think this is like the Raptors are just ugly to watch, man. I don't know if you've watched a lot of Raptors games.
No, they muck it up. It's not. It's Brandon Ingram.
Ugly. But to your point, you a little bit, maybe not. They might be a little bit uglier to watch than the Suns, but like the Suns had to completely change their identity, right? When losing Durant, obviously still having Beal out, and just had to flip their game on their heads pretty much and say, all right, we got to start playing tough defense, etc. Well, the Raptors, that's just how they're winning games right now. Yeah. And they've been pretty consistent all year. I do agree with you that Brandon Ingram has outperformed my expectations this year. Oh, yeah. Quickly as well has been a very solid piece this year. Barnes, man, he's not on that Paolo track, but he did regress a little bit, in my opinion, year over year.
I don't think he's a number. I thought he was number one.
I agree.
He's not a number one scorer. That's not part of his arc.
Scoring.
But here's the thing, and I'll bleed it into. I think whoever gets the 8 seed, I think I have the Pistons moving on, especially with Cade playing.
Yeah.
We'll see if he has any issues. Hopefully not, just for the sake of their team. Obviously, of Jalen Duren. But, looking to your point about Donovan Mitchell and his expectations, I agree. He has the most pressure, I think, of anybody in the East to just have success this year, whether that means making the finals or just making the conference.
Conference finals is all I'm asking. Like
that's fine.
That's it.
You could argue that this year he actually has an easy path. He has to go through the Raptors, who we just said they could take this series in 5 games. I think this is the hardest series to predict, I guess is my whole point. Like it could go any which way, and I would not be surprised. But then you're saying he'd get to match up with kind of a rising Pistons team who's a number 1 seed, high expectations, but also still kind of playing with house money a little bit because Tatum came back and the Celtics are fully healthy, and most people have them as the East favorites to represent in the finals. If Mitchell does not make the conference finals this year, I think we got to have full conversations about his legacy, whatever you want to call it. I hate to say this, and you guys might call me blasphemous. He's just a better version of like a Zach LaVine. He's just short. Downhill.
Well, you just said that to trigger Zoo.
No.
What has he done? What has he done?
Zach LaVine?
I'm
the
just saying.
Sacramento Kings traded for Zach LaVine, and they are the worst team in the NBA now.
I'm not saying – I said he's a better version of Zach LaVine, but they're going to have the same amount of – like he's going to have what?
Donovan Mitchell wins? Is the all-NBA guy consistently.
Okay, great.
Zach LaVine stop it.
It's just play style. I'm just talking about play style. To your point, downhill, no defense. No defense, and jacks a lot of threes. And that's it.
Donovan Mitchell just is – I get people – he's a better version. Like if Zach LaVine had a more expanded game –
yeah,
but I think Donovan. I will say Donovan Mitchell is a little bit better of a winner.
As a ball handler,
he's a better winner. He's also had way better teams.
He's just better than Zach LaVine at everything outside of jumping.
But the sad thing is that the expectations of Donovan Mitchell are well beyond what Zach LaVine's were, and he's only going to have a bunch of first round wins. Man, that's it. Come on, whether it's Utah Jazz, the Cavaliers, they bring
Jazz. We were giving him a pass, but
I'm giving a pass. His second best player was Rudy Gobert, and like
Anthony Edwards got to the conference finals with him. So who's like? So that means I guess he can't. That means we all established that Anthony Edwards is world.
I think Anthony Edwards is a better player, but like,
and he's about 5 years younger. Like 4 years younger, whatever he is at this point. Like Donovan Mitchell, he's hitting 30, man, and he's barely made it to the
he got to get to the conference.
He's got to get to the conference finals.
I agree with this year because this roster on paper, it's a nice roster on paper,
and they're still the 4th seed.
Yeah, I think there were a little gamesmanship with how they ended the year. That's all I gotta say.
So you think they wanted to
tanking?
Yeah. All I know, they didn't want to see the Boston Celtics in the second round.
Probably not. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, but they were holding they were pretty much holding the 4 spot there at least the last portion of the season, and they didn't know if they were going to get the Hawks or the Raptors. That was completely up in the air.
Yeah,
you better be careful what you wish for. You better be careful.
That is true. That is true. But against this Toronto Raptors team, they 100% should win this series.
They
should.
Give
you that. And I think they should. It should be a quick 5-game series.
It should be.
They remind me a little bit of, is it blasphemy to say Toronto could maybe, and they wouldn't do this type of run through the playoffs, but they could have a first round like how Indiana just shocked the Cavs, smacked them up. Be like, oh, wow. Like, wait,
what Indiana did last year was an absolute miracle.
Not a run. I'm just talking about that series only. Not like the Raptors going to go to the finals. Not that.
Yeah, because it's against Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what to tell you. If he's not dropping 35 in the series,
Donovan Mitchell right now.
They're losing. Man. If he does not average 30 in the series, they're losing the series.
I don't think they need him to average 30 again.
Mobley's good. He's inconsistent. What are you going to rely on, like Ty Jerome and stuff to come in and like, come on, man. Like I know the Raptors are not a great team, but to your point, they will grind you down on defense.
Yeah. And they got a lot of, and the thing is, their team is huge. Like huge. And that's the thing that kind of sucks with Donovan Mitchell is like, I know he's got the wingspan, but he doesn't play like he's 6'5", 6'6". He kind of is just like a 6'4" shooting guard, and that's fine.
He's gonna need a 3-point shot to fall. But
like he has to shoot consistently for them to win for sure.
This dude's a 28 per game in the playoffs, and I'm telling you, James Harden might disappear in the playoffs, but he's going to give you at least 1 or 2 good games in this series. You give me 1 or 2 good James Harden with Donovan Mitchell.
This is the best team Mitchell's had. Let's just put it that way.
On paper, yeah. On paper, yes. Because this is a Cavs team that a couple of years ago won like 60-plus games, and pretty much the only swap was the point guard position.
Garland
for Harden.
And Garland's been playing better in LA than
he's been playing better, but that dude's foot – major issues, and obviously this was a win now move where they're trying to re-sign Donovan Mitchell because he got a contract extension going up. So this is also kind of an all-in type of situation. All in
for 1 round, and then they're going to get swept by Cade Cunningham.
Smoked.
No, we're talking about the first round right now, but they will take care of business.
Okay,
they will.
All right, let me ask you this:
I'm pretty confident in this series. Like pretty confident, 5-game series.
I agree. My pick is the Cavs. I will just say that, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as you're saying, Zoo. I don't think it's good. I think it could go 7. Like I would not be too surprised.
Really?
Yeah. But the series I'm most interested in the East, I'm going to say this once again, kind of like I said with the Pistons, Celtics. I have them moving on beyond the first first round. I just don't see the banged up Sixers team or the Magic, whoever wins the game tomorrow. Neither one. You know, I would say I would say that whoever gets the 8th seed might have a better chance of knocking off the Pistons than you would knocking off the Celtics. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
The series I'm not interested in the East, man, is this Knicks Hawks series.
Oh, I knew.
I got a little skin in the game. I got my futures on the Hawks, and I'm sad about it because I thought they were going to face the Cavs, and I was like, I think the Hawks could take care of the Cavs, just with how they're playing. The dude that has quietly been really the best player on the team. I mean, Jalen Johnson is
Jalen Johnson, right? JD.
But Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been balling since like late February, early March, man. And that was an underrated move by the Hawks in this last offseason to bring him in. Obviously, we know the Timberwolves had to decide between him
they
and
couldn't pay him.
Daniels.
They couldn't pay. They couldn't
pay both of them. And you could argue the Timberwolves made the wrong decision. Daniels has some injury issues, you know. I mean, he's not as prolific. I've watched Nickeil Alexander-Walker win a dude a fantasy basketball championship because he just balled out the last 4 weeks of the season. And that's when you want to be hot as a team. Now, did I like the Hawks' chances more against the Cavs than the Knicks? Obviously, yes. I think the Knicks are still a very good team. Zoo, I'm pretty sure they might have been your representative out of the East this year.
They were my pick this year.
Once again, man, they're Brunson or die. Like, if Brunson's not having a big game, we've seen them really struggle when he started slow, and then he'll drop 25 in the second half, and they end up winning the game. Well, this Hawks team is pretty damn consistent. They're lengthy. They rebound the ball. The only thing that irks me about them sometimes is just they don't really have a true point guard, right? I think that's the issue with this team.
They have a point forward.
They have a point forward, which is you could argue the same thing, I guess, a little bit for the Raptors, right? You see Scotty bring the ball up a lot, right? But Jalen Johnson, I trust with the ball a little bit more than I do Scotty Barnes. Another, those Duke guys, they know how to take care of the basketball 9 times out of 10. I think this series goes 7. I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna stick with my gut, and I'm still gonna take the Hawks in this series. But if the Knicks move on and they get to play the Celtics in the second round, that'd be a hell of a series too, man. I think either way, the Celtics. I know we're not going that far down, but like, I'll make the call now because I'm done with my East. I have the Celtics coming out of the East. But I am most interested to watch this Knicks Hawks series. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. And I just hate Cat in the playoffs. I just think he comes up short every single
He has those moments where he just disappears. Absolutely disappears.
And they're going to need OG Anunoby to be the guy to fill in there. And he can be a little wavery sometimes too. In his consistency.
I got to give it to you because this Hawks team, they traded away their franchise player and Trae Young. And you kind of think, is this like a kind of a rebuild? Not really.
Nope.
They kind of this is what they call a retool, right?
They got better.
It's crazy to say. They got rid of Trae Young and got veteran guys. And got a shot at CJ McCollum. He's a veteran guy. Kind of people thought he was kind of washed. He just comes in, veteran guy, 19 points a game, 4 assists as a veteran guy. And he's up there in age. We forgot CJ McCollum, 34 years old already.
I was going to say, is he 35, 36?
Yeah, he's up there in age now. So, like, what he's doing, these numbers as a veteran leadership type of guy, and a good locker room guy, like CJ McCollum really coming to this Hawks team and pretty much made an immediate impact because he's kind of their point guard or combo guard, but he's one of their lead ball handlers on this roster right now because obviously Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Dyson Daniels, they're kind of all like specialized players with Dyson Daniels a defensive guy and Nickeil is more of a scorer. So you're looking at this roster right now where I'm like, this roster on paper should not have that good of a record. 45 wins, obviously, like 45 wins. I don't think anybody had Atlanta with 45 wins coming into the regular season, especially post Trae Young like debacle. Like Conway and all these guys, it just got, and now you got Kuminga down there in the bench, and their first overall pick, Richaud,
not doing anything.
He just doesn't play for this team. He plays like less than 10 minutes. Like Zachary Richaud, who's their number 1 overall pick, kind of a non-factor right now. Like he might even get like heavy minutes in the playoffs. So it's kind of a funny roster if you think about that. But as you mentioned, man, against this New York Knicks team where they kind of went all in post Mikal Bridges, right? So That was their all-in move, obviously.
Their Desmond Bain move.
Yeah, that was their Desmond Bain move, but I'd rather get Giannis Antetokounmpo than friggin' Mikal Bridges because Giannis was there last year and they didn't go all in on Mikal Bridges. They could have gotten Giannis after we see all these reports coming out where Giannis wanted out last year and obviously a deal didn't get done. So that would be the all-in move I would have made, but they went all in with this team and it's kind of the same team as last year, but I always forget last year's team when they beat the Boston Celtics, I was like, wow. When they dismantled, no, even before injury, they were destroying them. They were destroying them. I was like, I didn't believe my eyes because I just thought Boston was just the way better team, but it's kind of the same exact roster. And obviously, this Atlanta Hawks team is ahead of schedule, as you would agree right now. So they're kind of playing with house money while the other team went all in. So I think there's a different pressure in this series now. Like, because that other side of the court, I'm like, I think their NBA finals are bust. That's their expectations.
The Knicks?
I think that's very, very fair because obviously Tatum off an Achilles and Halliburton are out this year. So knocking out like potential contenders in the Eastern Conference. While Atlanta, man, they're looking at next year right now where, we getting that New Orleans pick. Okay, now we got a squad and potentially getting a top 3 pick right now with Jalen Johnson and all these young guys and complementary players and Nikhil Alexander Walker and Dyson Daniels. Okay, now we're cooking right now. Like they're probably
Darren Peterson.
Yeah, they added
that point guard.
They added one stud rookie to this cast of characters. Okay, now we got a team right now where we have found 2 foundational guys along with complementary players. Where we're a 50-win team in the Eastern Conference for the next couple of years right now, doing something for the longevity. But this year, as you mentioned, it's just house money over expectations right now. So I'm going to go with the veteran ball club, the New York Knicks right now. I ain't going against, I guess, my city right now and my team right now that I picked in the beginning of the year. So I'm going the New York Knickerbockers, but it's going to be a feisty series, man. It's absolutely going to be a feisty series. So I'm very, very excited for this. And
who's your East rep?
I want to say the Knicks, but I don't really believe that no more, man. I just don't. I just don't, man. I believe in the beginning, but I didn't know Tatum was going to come back. And Tatum actually looks kind of good. He had some like off shooting nights, but he still does like he's still a really, really good rebounder. I forget how great of a rebounder.
I know. I always forget it too.
I was like, dang, he's a legit.
Well, he's 6'10", so I mean,
6'10" as a small forward who's agile. He's a really, really good rebounder, and his assists. I don't think he's the greatest passer, but he's not an awful passer. So he does a little like outside of shooting threes and getting buckets. So I'm gonna lean Boston because what they did without Tatum that was something special what they did this year because people wrote off the Celtics. I think a majority of people, even I feel like Celtics
everybody
fans,
did, yeah.
I feel like even Celtics fans were kind of like, maybe that Indiana mindset where this is the off year, we get a high draft pick, and then we're gonna retool with Tatum, Brown, and see what we could do. Because the front office kind of was just like, bye-bye, guys. Drew Holiday, bye-bye. We're gonna send you Al Horford gone. Yeah. Look what happened, man. Those veteran guys, whatever. They brought in some young guys that made an immediate impact where, man, that Boston culture of bringing pretty much just regular, I would call it just Jags.
Peyton Pritchards.
Peyton Pritchards. And like these guys are just kind of guys. They just come in, do their role, and they win games. So I got to give the coaching staff and Brad Stevens, the mastermind behind the architect of the Boston Celtics, a lot of kudos for doing, especially this season where this was not an easy retool type of season and winning this many games. And now they're favoring the East again. I'm going to lean Boston, but I still give the Knicks a shot because if they match up, I think the Knicks matchup-wise, their wings, they just match up. They were built.
That's their wings is the
neutralizer.
Neutralizer.
They were physically built just for that Celtics team. So I do give the Knicks a great shot if they were able to make out this first round. But I'm leaning Celtics. But Knicks, I'm still giving a little hope right now. But I want to see something this first round right now. I want to
take care of business.
Yeah, I need to see them take care of business against these young teams because you cannot let a young team just come in and beat them with zero experience. They have zero playoff experience outside of CJ McCollum, and Nikhil Alexander Walker. So outside of their veterans, their main young players, no experience.
Yep.
I think to me, it's the Celtics by default, but I'm not confident on it. I do kind of side with Zoo. If the Knicks do get out of the first round, it's I do think they'd have a really good shot against Boston. And even the Hawks, I don't think they could beat the Celtics, but they can make it interesting to where it's like, oh, like maybe they're up 2-1. I always say 2-1 because it's like after 3. Because I don't think there's a situation where it could be like 3-2 and they could be a chance to go home and win the game and win the series. But I do think if I had to do a top 3, it'd be those 3 teams of like, okay, I can see them in the conference finals. Like is matching up with whoever. One of those 3 teams. Because the Hawks are kind of more so like Jalen Johnson. I know we haven't seen him in the playoff series. Yeah. So it's kind of like you got to reserve judgment. But depending on how they play in this first round, like I do think if they take care of the Hawks, or not Hawks, but take care of the Knicks, then that's going to, just in my head, I'm going to assume that like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, to your point, Bush is playing out of his mind. And also Jalen Johnson is succeeding as a point forward. The point guard in playoff scenario always scares me. So I just got to see it first. So that's why I'd be more inclined to pick the Knicks. And then, like I said, I do think the Knicks could give the Celtics a little bit of the run for the money because I know Tatum came back and has played well. It's just, I want to see it because it's like over a series where you're going back to backs, like, you know, they've been maybe managing a little bit. I just want to, and I know they've already done it, but I'm just saying post injury. Like I want to see Tatum actually go through this entire, I guess, playoff run, however long it's going to be, and see if they can get back to the finals. Because I just need to see it. I think that's a lot of pressure just on his leg, and there's nothing against Jaylen Brown. I think if anything, Jaylen Brown has pretty much established that he's a guy. And if I'm Boston, if I'm being careful, like I'm maybe gearing a lot of things towards Jaylen through these first couple of rounds, and then maybe save Tatum for like the conference finals and finals run. Not just put too much pressure on him, but you know that if the series are tight, you got to do what you got to do and play however you want to play. And I also think too, we want to just keep on like this is a secondary storyline, but it's like you're not going to tell me that Jason Tatum doesn't feel a way that Boston was as good as they were without him, and that may bleed into playoffs of like, well, maybe Jalen needs to get this shot, and it's like, no, I'm Jason Tatum. I don't care if I'm off an Achilles. You're giving me the basketball, and we're going to figure this out. Maybe there's a little bit of that because that's just human nature. I don't care who you are, especially greats like Jason Tatum, who has a ring, and it's like he's going to go down as one of the greater
no finals MVP
in history. Yeah, like it's just competition, and it's like this is the year where like Tatum, obviously, he had his whole thing set up where he's coming back, but it's like you do feel a way that Jaylen Brown, he's got ball like. They're still like 2 or 3 seed. And if you're Jaylen Brown, you're kind of looking like, what do you mean? I have a finals MVP. What are you talking about? Like, I'm a dude too. So it's like, that's just something that I don't think is going to affect them. But it's like, obviously, if these games are tight, you're still going to be thinking about it. So I'm pretty sure Missoula will have a solution for that.
Yes. Great.
Transitioning to the West quickly for me, the only interesting one I have in that first round, like I said, I wish we would have got the Clippers and
Clippers Spurs,
like you said. But obviously it's Denver and Minnesota, and I'm just interested to see if who is like gonna be the second guy for Minnesota. Like
that's the question.
I don't because like their collection of talent we know is what it is, but it's just like I don't know. This year, and it's just because I guess they've been consistent, and maybe they've been playing possum until they get into the playoffs and somebody will show up. But it's like, I don't know. And that's what kind of makes me nervous about that. Because as much as Denver just to me is Jokic or bust. Like Jokic has to be having a great game and they have to be shooting well. And Jamal Murray, I think he'll show up and be great. But like, it really to me is Jokic. Like Jokic just has to be the do-it-all player. So this really is an Ant versus Jokic matchup. And I'm just a little bit more concerned with Minnesota of like who is going to be that second guy. Maybe they shock me and they have Julius and Jay, like all those guys just they do their roles like how they did that one year when they got to the conference finals, and it's just like everybody played their role exclusively well. But to your point, people, I think they are missing Alexander Walker, and there's no way you could be like, oh, if he was in Minnesota, he'd be doing the same things. Maybe he went because a guy gets traded like that or gets sent or he gets signed and trade, whatever, however it went down. It maybe lights a fire under you and you play more motivated because maybe
he has more freedom in Atlanta too.
Yeah, he's
more shots.
I guess you would say more relied on. So maybe it didn't matter if he was in Minnesota. He would have been able to change and been a more impactful player. But that's the only thing that kind of scares me because I don't think if Minnesota doesn't get any consistency from the combination of Randall, McDaniels, Nasri, whoever, I think Denver could get him. But then I could be wrong and Ant just goes nuclear. But you don't want to get to a point where he just, especially in the first round, it's like, you don't want to have to continue to do that. So I don't know. I think I would lean Minnesota because I think Anna's going to go insane. And I mean, I could say the same thing about Denver in terms of like who is their second guy. But Jokic is so great, you kind of just don't think about it. And you think he can just carry. But Denver has it. Like Denver's not really a good team. They're really just Jokic. They have not really built. I don't think they're a good team. I think they're Jokic or bust. I don't think any of their secondary players are really that good. I think Jamal Murray has the lore of. I think he has the lore of a playoff player. But like we're gonna see it this year. Like he has to be the second option and be great. And I think we got maybe 1 or 2 more years of Jamal Murray being like a dude. Like because Jokic is gonna age gracefully because he's a. I mean, his stats are just still insane. So I think he just lives. But I don't like their roster. I just don't. And they're not really good defensively. Oh. Like who's stopping Ant Edwards on their roster?
I agree. They're not the best defensive team.
No,
I agree. They're not the best defensive team. But I think this roster. I think last year's roster is what you were talking about, where they had.
I hope you don't bring up buddy. What's his name? What's the dude?
Bruce Brown.
Not Bruce Brown. He's a nice bench player. He's a nice bench player where he belongs on the bench. The key guy is Jonas Valanciunas. Because when Jokic went to the bench, they did not have a backup center they could play. They kind of played Aaron Gordon. They played Aaron Gordon at the center position. That dude was on one leg with his hammy. Like they did not have a backup center. Jonas Valanciunas, actually, he's kind of like a starter quality guy where he's probably one of the top 30 centers in the NBA, but he's on this Nuggets team, so he's a bench guy. But Jonas Valanciunas, he's an insane offensive rebounder. So you're getting that guy off the bench. That's their biggest addition. Who I was most excited about because Jokic could actually get a 5-minute break here in the first half, a 5-minute break in the second half, and we'll have to worry about at such a massive hole at the center position. So Jonas Valanciunas is a key guy off the bench. So that's the key player. And you mentioned Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's having a career season this year. Like Jamal Murray made his first All-Star game. He's probably
he's always kind of been an All-Star though.
But not at 25 a game. He's always been around that 20, 21 points a game for the last couple of years when he hit his prime. But this is the first year he made that leap in 25 a game, and he's shooting 44 from the three-point line and 48 from the field. So he's having statistically his best regular season ever. I think the biggest reason is I think he's in better shape this year, and I think he's playing with a little fire after last year where he had some games where I think he wanted back in the playoffs where I think he let Jokic down where Jokic is doing anything he could against this Thunder team right now, and all he needed was another guy because Aaron Gordon was hitting threes on one leg, and then Jamal Murray needed to have one of those.
Aaron Gordon was a monster that series.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon is an absolute beast, especially in the playoffs. So I feel like Jamal Murray took that personally, and that's why this regular season, statistically across the board, he's having a career year. So 25 points a game in the regular season. Obviously, I'm expecting that in the playoffs right now where this roster, I don't know about you, but I like this roster, man, because you're talking to a guy in Aaron Gordon. He's healthy now. Thank the Lord, because he's their key guy, because he's their best defensive player where Aaron Gordon can D up the best guy on the other side of the court. Where, like Aaron Gordon can guard guys from Ant-Man to Rudy Gobert. Like he can guard all 5 positions. So he's the key connective tissue of this roster. And talking about that with Cam Johnson as the shooter who's finally healthy too, because that's another guy who missed a bunch of games this year. So they got their 3-and-D guy. They got their connector in Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray's having a career season he's an all-star guy this year. And Christian Braun, Jokic, like that is a good starting lineup.
They need Peyton Watson.
That is true. I give you that. They need Peyton Watson for the defense. And the offense this year has actually been a really huge revelation when Jokic is out, and he was putting up like 20 points a game. So they need him back, obviously. But yeah, Valanciunas, Tim Hardaway Jr. as your key guys off the bench. Hardaway Jr. is having
all right. I'm
Hardaway Jr. is having a great shoot. He's a shooter. He's a shooter, man.
Give me Bruce Brown, but I might give you Hardaway. Like Hardaway gonna shoot you out of a game. He'll shoot you out of a game if they depend on him.
He plays a singular role in the offense. Because if you look at that offense,
I know
is Jamal Murray pick and roll Jokic and looking for 3-point shooters on that offense in their 2-man game. And what does Hardaway do? 40% from 3. 40% from 3. And he made some.
That's all Jokic needs.
Exactly. They needed another shooter. And obviously, these guys are singular roles. Jonas Valanciunas, backup center, offensive rebounder. Hardaway Jr., shooter. Bruce Brown, kind of a dual all-over, but he's kind of average and everything. But he'll burn some minutes when Murray needs a little break. But I like this roster. And you mentioned Peyton Watson's the key because that gives another defender and blocker.
He's week to week. He's
That's
week
true.
to week.
That's true. That is
not
true.
Day to day.
But that is true. But I think in this series against this Timberwolves team,
Yes,
they're going to need him in the next series. But in this current series, in the first round, I have full faith that they will get revenge against this Timberwolves team right now, because this Timberwolves team isn't as good as the previous Timberwolves team. Obviously, the key guys you've mentioned, Nikhil Alexander-Walker is obviously not there. I think the only significant addition has been Ayo Dosunmu, who's an awesome player. Like, Ayo Dosunmu is definitely a 3-and-D, high IQ. We kind of just traded away for a bunch of young guys, but shout out Leonard Miller for the Bulls. But Ayo Dosunmu is their significant addition, where he could play both guard positions in that rotation with Ant-Man, DiVincenzo, Mike Conley. Like, he could play that combo guard. So that is their significant addition. But outside of that, I think they're worse on paper compared to the previous time they matched up in the playoffs. So I got the Denver Nuggets, because I think even though their regular season record's at 50 wins, I think this roster on paper is better than the team that went 7 games with the Thunder.
Well, real quick, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to talk Lakers, Rockets, but I got Rockets in that one just because of the whole.
The only thing is Kevin Durant better win this series. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't want to. And they need to do it in 5 games. It better not go 6 or 7. That's it.
Without Luka and
losing to the father-son duo, the father-son duo.
Bronny James, man, gonna hit some big threes.
If Bronny is averaging 10 points or something in that series, we have major effing problems. And I love Bronny, but like we have major problems that the Rockets are allowing him.
Shepard. He's gonna be cooking.
Stop it, man! Stop the disrespect on Reed Shepard. I'm
about to say Reed Shepard would be an X factor for them, like going forward if they get to the.
But real quick back to the Nuggets and Timberwolves. I mean, I agree. And it's also more to do that Ant's not 100%, right? I think he's playing at like 80 to 85%, which is still a prolific level of player. I'm not saying that. But we all know I would put Julius Randle in the same category as Cat. Obviously, Julius in their Western Conference Finals run was a more impactful player than Cat ever was with the Timberwolves and has been with the Knicks in the playoffs. But for me, this Nuggets team, man, I mean, Sean, I love a good storyline. We all know what the second round matchup would be if the Nuggets win. It would be Wembanyama having to go through Jokic. Come on, people. I think right there you already know.
That'd be a good matchup.
It would be a great matchup. It'd be huge for ratings. It'd be huge test for Wembanyama. Another huge test to see if Jokic can still kind of get there at his usage. I don't want to say his age anymore. His usage is so crazy that's what's going to really catch up with him before his age does, in my opinion. But I agree with you, Zoo. I do think they're a more complete team. Talked about the Nuggets for years having issues without a bench, right? That was really the thing that held me back from making a lot of picks on the Denver team, coming out of the West or winning the finals. It's even though how great the Thunder were last year and how close the Nuggets got, that was the difference maker, was that, to your point, he couldn't come off the court because they didn't have somebody behind him to give him, a much needed 4-minute game time break. I do think, and maybe when I said Peyton Watson earlier, I was thinking more of how it would affect their run in the entire playoffs. But in the first round, I think they can still handle business against Minnesota, barring, to your point, Sean, I think you said it, a major series from like a Naz Reid or an Ayo Dosunmu or something like that. That'd be really the only way. I'll echo Zoo's point. Ayo's been sad to see leave Chicago, but I'm happy that he's on a relevant team. He deserves for being and grinding out and really showcasing that he was a first-round talent coming out of Illinois in his hometown team. But, yeah, man, I got the Nuggets in that series. I think they handle it in 5 or 6 games. I would not be surprised if it's a relatively clean series for them. I just don't think Ant Edwards is 100%, and it's going to show in a grinded-out series like this. The Rockets, yeah, I agree. KD's got to take care of business. If they lose this series, we got to have real big conversation.
We should already be having these conversations about KD because to Zoo's point, the Suns literally are.
We've already had this conversation.
Play it like dude, Kevin Durant's not a leader.
It's not like this. I agree. He has 2 finals. He has finals MVPs. Let's let it go. He's got his hardware. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Thank God for Steph Curry. Thank God.
And
let's be honest.
I think he still cares, man.
He does.
He still cares, but shout out Steph Curry.
If you give him that truth serum, man,
okay, I'll say this right now. If Curry, if Kevin Durant was not on those Warriors teams, they would not be winning either one of those finals. Curry did not have great
No,
series.
I agree.
I don't know.
With
I
Curry,
don't even know about. I don't know about
no,
that.
I can't go that far.
2022 when they beat the Celtics, Curry with Andrew Wiggins.
No, I'm talking. He's talking about when
those
Durant
two
was on the
teams,
team.
Those two. That was 4 years later, Zoo. That was 4 years separated. You take Kevin Durant off that 17 and 18 teams, they are not beating a Kyrie and LeBron.
No, they're not.
Cavs team.
Not
both times.
I would say they were a pick 'em. I think they could have definitely got another ring without Kevin Durant.
Okay, but how easy were those series for the Warriors? It
doesn't matter how easy. I'm talking about the results. I think they still would have been in contention of winning rings.
Okay, they would have been in the finals. I agree. They would have been in the finals.
That's my point. And it'll be a pick-up between two.
Hey, but my point is, it's not like Kevin Durant joined those teams and did not win Finals MVP. All right, He won Finals MVP both years. He was the reason they won so handedly. End of story. I agree. He is a horrible leader, and he's the best scorer I've ever seen. End of story.
Two things can be true.
Two things can be true. Yes.
I don't know about best scorer.
At least he has Finals MVPs, unlike Mr. blowing 3-1 lead James Harden. All right, that's it. Luka Doncic.
Well, James Harden is. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's not a fair fight.
So, but they're the same age, or right around the same age. So we got to compare those two guys. But I agree. If they lose to this Lakers team, which I don't think they will, because as you said, Reed Shepherd has been a great player. Şengün, he's really the X factor for this team. I know everyone keeps pointing towards Kevin Durant. If Şengün's taking horrible shots and getting benched by Udoka, they're never going to have any success. And we know he can be a black hole sometimes, even though he is the most versatile player on the team. So I don't think it's going to be a very exciting series. The Thunder and the Spurs.
Yes,
it is what it is. We already know how those are going.
Yeah.
I got the Thunder coming out again. Yeah. So Thunder versus Celtics, but give me the Celtics in the NBA Finals.
I'm gonna surprise you, man. I'm gonna surprise you. You
don't
seen that Rockets? No. I'm not just about picking the Western Conference. I'm talking about that Lakers Rockets series, man. I don't think it's obvious.
What, Rui Hachimura?
Wait, obvious in terms of being a gentleman's team?
No, I'm thinking it's be extremely, extremely competitive because I don't know if you watch the Rockets. Like the Chicago Bulls beat the Rockets. Like this Rockets team in the second half of the year.
One game, you're cherry picking.
No, not cherry picking. There were multiple games where you see them execute in the fourth quarter, and they're like the most unclutched team.
They need a point guard. Van Vliet, your dude. They need him.
Yeah. They need they need a guy that could dribble the ball and not turn it over. Because there are situations at the end of the regular season where you had Kevin Durant turning it over, Kevin Durant missing free throw. There were multiple scenarios of them just kind of blowing games where it's just like they were at a 99 win percentage and they just kind of blow these games. And I think it has a lot to do with the chemistry with these guys that playing together. They don't really like playing together post burner. Like Kevin Durant, he is cancerous. Like I love the talent. I remember years ago, I was elating about his talent. But after I see this cancerous man infecting franchises.
Cancerous man. It's crazy.
He is, man. Dude, I'm telling you.
It's just how you say cancerous is crazy.
I'm telling you, man. You got to cut the tumor. You got to cut it. I'm telling you, Kevin Durant in basketball terms, in team chemistry, he kind of just an obliterator with, like, he just kind of just, hey, why don't you do your job? It's always not taking accountability. He's like the anti-accountability because he's so talented and he is.
And people like his personality. He's not divisive, so that's when no one wants to kill him.
Applied, everything about it.
He's just a good dude.
But every time something goes wrong, he just kind of looks like, yo, Şengün, what are you doing, man? Like, he never looks in the mirror at himself, and he's always blaming people. That's all he does. We saw in OKC with that burner account instant, and now we're seeing again we saw with the Suns still like that situation, and now with the Rockets again, like it just constantly happens over and over and over. And all I gotta say, I would be surprised if LeBron James turns back. They need 4 games of him of being like superhero mode.
He'd have to go 2018, Bron. That's been trending.
2018.
He's probably got 2 of those games. He's got 2 of those games. I don't think he's got 4.
He does not.
He only has 2 of those games.
That's 8 years ago. That is 8 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, it is 8 years
it's
ago.
Gonna take a couple of veteran players and role players stepping up and having some big games because
Kennard's going to have to shoot 60% from 3.
Yeah, without both Austin Reeves and Luka. Like I feel like if they had just one of those guys, I think they could.
If they had one of those, they'd beat the Rockets. Yeah.
Disrespect is insane.
I'm just saying that I'm sorry. I watched that.
Do you want to make a bet? I will make a bet with you that this is an under.
How many games?
It needs to be 4.
You want it?
But 5 would be probably like the betting line.
Well, it's dead even. It's I mean, there's no like middle ground. No, we can't really make a bet on this. I mean, I would take the bet straight up, but I know you're not going to do that. You sound pretty confident in Mr. 41-year-old LeBron James, though. So
I think it's more about Durant.
It's
not about. I think it's more about Durant.
All I'm saying
LeBron.
is
exactly
Vegas got them kind of wiping the floor with this Lakers team.
Yes, they will.
I don't agree with that. I believe it's going to be a competitive.
So wait, are you picking a money line? The series?
With those juiced odds, I might. That's all I'm saying, man.
Let me look at what the odds are. Let me see what the odds are.
I don't know what the odds are right now.
These must be insane odds.
Watch this be the year that the Rockets actually have success.
Absolutely not. After watching the Rockets in the regular season, absolutely not.
Hey,
they're 2 and
get
done.
beat by 40 by the
chemistry
Thunder.
and off the court chemistry. My goodness,
They didn't lose. They didn't lose by 40 to the Thunder this year. I'll just tell you that they split the series.
I think they're 2 and done. I don't think they're like if they get through this. I just don't. And like I said, it's like
they have to play the Thunder.
It's just I think people to Zoo's point. I just think it's just we're sick. Like with it's just Durant does get passes, and it's like, dude, you gotta just be accountable, dude. Like we get it, and it's because and it's literally you can just put him. And I know he's not as good as LeBron, but it's like it really. And this is just a life thing. Like when people like you, they kind of just don't want to criticize you. With LeBron, he doesn't get that benefit out because you either hate him or you like him. And I'm not saying literally, but I'm just saying fan wise. With Durant, he really is like if we saw Durant, it's like he probably is like he probably the coolest guy to hang out with. You'd feel like you're just hanging out with your buddies. So it's like we kind of just want to over excuse. But to Zoo's point is like, dude, you can't. As talented as he is, and that's the problem. If he was Tyler Hero or Donovan Mitchell, even it's like okay, whatever. But like, dude, he's Kevin Durant. Like, sorry, you can't. Like when he's saying, I just want to hoop, you don't get to do that. You are too talented to not want to take some leadership. You have to. That's non-negotiable. And the thing is, the reason why Zoo brought, I think the point with, and I know we're going to turn about Durant, but like, it's like we brought with Golden State is like, yeah, it's, 2 things can be true. He was the finals MVP, but it's like, he knew what he was doing going there because he needed that leadership. And that's like part of, and it's like you would think, and you would think him being in that infrastructure, he would have been able to carry that to like his teams, and he just hasn't. So it's like
just
it's
like LeBron joining the Heat and losing the finals, losing in the.
But then LeBron carried it on to other franchises. Kevin Durant hasn't done that.
No,
That's
he
the
went back to
problem.
the same
Durant hasn't done that for any franchise. The reason Kevin Durant was so good was when he is on one-on-one. He's probably one of the greatest one-on-one players
for sure.
He doesn't know how to
one-on-one talent, just skill set
one-on-one talent
and that's
and one-on-one player when it's just uno y uno. Oh yeah. Oh, I take Kevin Durant, but it's a 5v5 game, and when double teams happen and decision making happens, he doesn't make the best decisions, and he's not a elite passer or a great passer. So
no,
those are some things.
He's Carmelo Anthony,
and to the people that and the thing that and the last thing like. Yeah, and to be honest, if Carmelo would have went to the Heat instead of Bosh and got those things, like people would be saying Carmelo's a better player than Durant, maybe because he's got the hardware.
Nah,
because he was looked at as like I think Durant's a better player, but like Carmelo, like he would be looked at better because he's got the hardware.
We're talking about the likability of KD, and it's why you don't. Okay, you could argue Curry is the same way.
Now Curry's the most likable basketball player in the NBA
of all time.
Right?
Okay, so why doesn't he get
a snake? Like that's one of his nicknames, a snake.
KD.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he's the mom. So was Kobe. Like,
I'm about to say Kobe.
The Mamba.
That's what's beloved in this. The Black Mamba. That's a nickname. Snake.
Okay,
man. He poisonous for your franchise. He a snake. He a backstabber. He a snake.
Okay, but whatever. Take away. Okay,
Curry, Black Mamba, man.
Okay, no. Here we go. Right. So you want to talk about resumes and criticizing? Curry did not win Finals MVP his first championship. He blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron in the finals. Then he loses.
No, man. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. He still had an ass series. He had an ass series. He shot under 40.
Yeah, I had to be.
He didn't have the best series, but I wouldn't say ass, man.
Not an MVP, but it was not good
Iguodala won it.
It was not good enough that they gave it to him. Damn Andre Iguodala.
That is an indictment. I will say
that. Indictment. Then
but Curry made up for it.
He could have made up for it. He blows a 3-1 lead. He could have won Finals MVP, and he blew a 3-1 lead. Then he needs Kevin Durant.
Fair.
He needs Kevin Durant. Let's just put that.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No.
Then
he won 2 titles without it.
What?
He won before KD, and he won after.
And he
That's
he
my
was.
point.
And I'll
you
give
don't need him.
If,
I'm sorry.
2?
If I'm winning 2 without you, I don't need you.
But 1 was all him. The 2022 one, I will never hate on Curry for that. He was an absolute monster. But if he did not win that finals, we would be having a very different conversation about Steph Curry as well and his legacy.
Yeah, that was a legacy razor.
It was his legacy razor. I agree with you. But he also only has 1 Finals MVP to Kevin Durant's 2, and they had the equal opportunity to.
But just say they both needed each other. They both needed each other.
Exactly.
KD's resume without Steph versus Steph's resume without KD is not even close. Yeah, it's not even close,
especially in the playoffs.
Because
KD blew a 3-1 lead to Steph in the playoffs with OKC in a better roster. So
he did.
KD has not made it out of the.
But my point is that no one's out here criticizing Curry.
He hasn't made it out of the second round since Steph Curry.
Because Aisha,
I'm not asking him to like the final. He hasn't made it out of the second round.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're better. I'm not comparing the players. I'm just saying Curry does not get any criticism.
When you say need, like I don't know if Curry needed when he got 1 ring on this finger without KD and 1 ring on this finger without KD. Like those are facts. He's won.
I think it's. I get people's point of like. I think if we're just doing like the need factor,
it's like it's just the burner. That's literally it. If the burner didn't happen,
part of it, but I don't think it's the burner stuff until. Yeah, and we can close it, but like I don't think it's the burner stuff prior to this year. Like this year, obviously he was tweeting about and just that to me is like that point to where we talked about average Şengün like playing whatever. Like, well, it's partly if I'm Şengün, F you, KD. Like you're tweeting crap from a burner, causing division within the team. Like, what the hell are you doing? Yep. Like that's just childish, like immature, and it doesn't matter how talented you are, that affects the team. And that has to be a demerit on his legacy. And I think that's part of the problem with like, I do agree with your point, P-Wish, about like Steph, like, yeah, after he blew that 3-1 lead, him and Draymond hit the panic button and went and got KD, which they needed to do, which I understand. Why it's like, this is also another reason why I don't ever hear we don't have with Durant, and I don't ever want to hear, I know they got the same ring, but that's why I just don't ever want to hear like Steph and Durant even in the same. They need to be in the foyer while LeBron is in the front room. Like it's just because it's just all this relates back to Bron, but it's like I get the point of like both sides of it. I do just think if you're doing of like who needed more, I think it's like this. It's like Steph's right here and like KD's below him. Like they both need each other, but I think Steph, to Zoo's point, has the like that 22 ring was so pivotal to Steph's legacy because like if he does not, to your point, if he does not get that, you kind of could just look at them as like you just 50-50. But that run that he did, that puts him over. So it's like to circle it back and bring it home. It's like I don't have enough money, or I mean I do have enough money, but I would not put any money to say the Lakers could beat them. But to Zoo's point, like it could get weird. But it's like, as your Durant, it should not get weird. Just beat them. And then, like, and then, second round, I think they're out in the second round anyways. But, I mean, stuff could happen. Other teams could, or not other teams, but other players on that team could rise to the occasion. But to your point, Zeus, I think main point is like, I just think the vibes are off. And I think it is because of that burner thinks it's all-star. It's just like, why would you do that?
Just imagine, let's be honest. Just imagine you at work, and then you find out your coworkers are doing like, yo, P-Bush is retarded.
Well, now I gotta bleep this out. Now I gotta bleep it
out. Imagine your coworker say that about you.
I'd be like, great,
this guy.
Sure. Let's be honest. Dude, I've watched a ton of Rockets games this year. I'm not saying Kevin Durant should do that, and I agree it's immature. You don't do that. They are a pretty dumb team, dude. They're a dumb team. Şengün is always blaming other people, and then they all look at him and are like, what do you want us to do?
Oh, you know what you do? You can talk to him. You go work on it. You go work on
Şengün. no, Sengun is blaming, like, fill the hole. And they're like, what are you talking about, Sengun? Like, my point is, they're all complaining and they just have no team chemistry. And Durant was the cherry on top.
Van Vliet, that's the solution. We need Van Vliet.
It's called you need a CEO of the franchise. You ain't no
Bring
CEO.
back Chris Paul. Bring back Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm. Take not done a great job this year either. So I'm like right now.
They could use a Drew Holiday.
Oh yes, they need someone. They need a professional. That's what they need, man.
And as we're closing,
professional.
Yeah, they're looking at the game.
Heater up 7 with 6 minutes left.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Hornets. And I'm looking at it right now. Grant Williams just keeps this. I'm not saying he's shooting him out the game, but it's just
Grant Williams, the worst All-Star pick in the last 10 years for sure.
He's had a couple of threes this game. He had a air ball and then that one he just missed. So, but yeah, he had it earlier in the second quarter, I think. But yeah. So anybody, I almost want to cut this and make this like a separate episode of like Durant.
Oh,
the Durant talk.
You should 100% do that.
Yeah, I'll probably do that when we get off. It's live, but I can just still download the video. But yeah, like I said, we're definitely full throttle into playoffs. By the time we're playing, we'll be, I guess, into like 1 or 2 games within the series. So make sure you guys are tuned into our podcast, looking for NBA content. Is the draft like when is the draft?
NFL draft?
June.
Like 2 weeks. I think it's
I think it's coming up fast. I think
it's next weekend.
When you're in crazy. So make sure you're just, I may even just on the content page just have a bunch of like retweeted mock drafts of a lot of different guys and just get different ideas and feelings and people just commenting to see like, hey, who do they think if this mock draft is more applicable to how they think it's going to go and things like that. So make sure you tune out for that. Quantro Knows is a page on YouTube, Tyson Talks _ Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you tune into all that. Spotify, Apple, 5-star review. Make sure you give us thumbs up. And if you do, comment as well. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we are out.